Hello friends, my name is Helen and I'm going to be showing you how to make this mask assembly line style. The beauty of this mask is that it is a rectangle, so it takes just an easy cut, adjustable nose strap, pocket for filter, and this version has elastic for the ears. Part 2 coming out will be alternatives for the elastic cloth strip or a grosgrain ribbon or a t-shirt ribbon. Okay, I'll show you all sorts of different versions because we need to use the materials on hand and not stop production on these to wait for an order of more elastic. Also, the nurses are really liking the ones that go and tie around the head. I've also seen them like on their headbands, so buttons to adjust around. So many ideas flowing around. It's a really beautiful thing to see. I'm going to show you how to do 3 of these at a time. I've used the same method to make 100 of them. So please feel free below in the comments to add anything that makes this quicker and easier. I'm certainly not saying mine's the best method, but this is what I've come up with so far. Okay, thanks so much. Let's get started. So the first step, I have folded several pieces of fabric here. Actually, it's one piece of fabric, but I folded it over so that I can cut 4 masks out at a time. And I have it at 12. I'm going to make 4 10 by 12 rectangles. Each mask needs 1. So this is enough material for 4 masks. Okay, so that's 12. Now I'm going to do my 10-inch side. Here, by lining that up, and I'm going to cut through all 4 pieces here. To make a straight edge. And then I'll measure here to make it 10 inches. Okay, we are going to start with the 10-inch side, the shorter side. And I'm folding it over just enough so that it fits between the feet of my bee foot. With my method, this is a quilting method. When you're piecing multiple pieces, you just keep it going. Okay, so we're gonna do all of this side, all 3 pieces that I'm doing here. And again, I've done this with 100 pieces, this same method. You may need to lift your foot, but you don't cut between. You can see how you could just keep going with however many masks you cut out at once. Okay, one side all done. And now I'm even going to just leave them like that, put it in my lap, and do the other side. When I made my 100, it was really nice to do them in groups of 10. it just felt more manageable, and I didn't get totally bored. Sometimes when I get to doing so many of them, I kind of move a little slower for some reason, but you be the judge. And now the seam ripper can cut between, and that's all you need to do. Okay. Now at this point, I'm going to fold them right sides together, and those beautiful seams that we just made will go up. So I do however many I have, I do each step in a group. I'm going to sew about a finger's width. So I'll put it in the machine here and start it. My first step will be to go backwards. So you can't see it, but I'm pressing this so that I just make a couple of stitches backwards, and then I go forward. I stop with the needle in about 1/4 of an inch away, and I pivot, and now I'm going to sew this seam. I'm going to pick up the next one, figure out where I want it. But the thing is, I'm going to lift this up, pull this out of the way, and put this down. Put the needle down, lift up the foot again, and pivot both. Careful not to get that stuck. See that again? Then I'll do the same on the other side. Measure about a finger. The next step is to turn them right side out. I always take it by the corners and do it, and you may find that just using your finger suffices, but I also keep a knitting needle handy. You could also use the end of a pin, a letter opener, nothing sharp for this. Okay, and then here, if I was selling this, I would probably iron it, but you can just finger press it for our purposes. Okay. Okay. So the next step is going to be making the pocket for the nose piece. I'm using twist ties. I have seen people using pieces of pipe cleaner, or you could probably use floral wire, anything like that that stays in place. Okay. So we'll drop it in the pocket, and we want it to kind of land in the middle. Okay. So you can feel that it's about here and ends here. I'm going to leave it open, so I'm not going to be running a seam along the side of it, but I am going to start here, back up, and then go forward. Make sure that you don't sew over the piece. The idea here is that with washing, these may become inflexible or whatever. So the idea is that someone can reach in and be able to take that out and replace it with another one. Okay, so you can do that to all of them, and then once that step is done, we can do this individually, and then we can do the assembly line for the next step. Okay, our next step is going to be putting in the pleats. Keep in mind that the nose is at the top, and we don't want our pleats to go up like this, thinking that this would be a little pocket that would catch more of any moisture that would come in. So my pleats are going to go down, and I'm going to go ahead and do 2 folds. And I don't want this to overlap like this and create so many sections of the fabric. Ideally, it would be like so, where there's no bunch here and there's no bunch here. Okay, and I'm going to go back to doing one step at a time with all of them. Seam ripper will help all of the folds go through the machine. Okay. Fold, fold. Now, if I leave this just so, I can scooch this in, and it will be at the same level, so my machine will have an easier time accepting all of the layers. I was doing this kind of mask by mask, and I found this actually to be a lot easier on the sewing machine needles. I broke a couple because of it getting thicker and thicker as we go through the stages. And again, I'm going to leave them together. I'm not going to cut yet. I'm going to try to mirror the folds on the other side. Oh, and this is sewn where the folds are at the edge of my foot. So when I'm doing this side, I'm starting from the bottom and the folds will be going up. And that's what you want. At this point, it's really fun to see them all. If you're doing 10 or more at a time, I really like this stage. It's a really fun deal. And guess what? We're almost done. So I'm just going to do the last step on one of these for you guys, maybe on two so you can see it again. Okay, I've already cut my elastic to 15 inches. And then I'm going to fold it over and cut it in this way. They're the exact same size. Each elastic needs to be 7.5 inches for the ears. Now, this is going to get sewn right here. And then this folded over. Okay, make sure you do it on the right side though. The pleats are going to go down, and so this, if you're looking at it, this is the outside of the mask. Because if you do it this way, this is the inside because the pleats are going up. Okay, so this wants to be sewn right here. I'm going to start with this halfway up. Initially, I was thinking to just tack this and then sew it once it gets folded, but I think sewing it at this stage helps in the next step. So make sure that it's not twisted. So that's going to be very uncomfortable behind an ear all day. Okay, this is the most tedious part right here. There we go. Okay. You can see that my elastic is somewhat in, and now I'm just going to fold that over. And then our last step for each ear is going to be sewing this down. And we want to make our seam line just a hair in, so it's not sewing through all of these layers. So you're just sewing through the 2 layers of the fabric and not all of this with the elastic as well. and repeat on this side. And repeat on this side. Fold that over and repeat on this side. We are going to put our pressure foot down, back up a couple of stitches to lock it in place, and then finish by backing up a couple more. And there we have a completed mask. In no time at all. Good luck. Happy making, everyone. Thank you so much. Goodbye.